Good morning. I'm headed to Sephora. It's day one of the sale, and I thought instead of showing you what I'm shopping for, which I've talked about a bunch already, I would try and show you some helpful tips if you are shopping in store, like picking the right foundation shade. It is hard picking it online, and it's even hard doing it in store, believe it or not. So I'm going to show you what I do when I'm in store to help pick the right foundation shade, what you should do if you're going to pick a foundation shade in store to help you get the right shade and go home with the right product. So stay tuned. Okay, first things first, get your existing makeup off. They have makeup removers and those little cotton pads everywhere in store. Get it off. Get your cheek product off. Just get a fresh, clean slate so that you can go ahead and swatch the product on and see how it looks next to your skin tone in its pure and natural state. So that's what I'm doing right now. Then I'm going over to Fentry. I'm really curious about their matte foundation. I know I'm a light medium skin tone in foundations for the most part, so it is useful for me just to kind of start there and narrow it down from there. It might take some time for you to figure out where you settle in, but do a bit of experimenting. I ended up grabbing 240, 230, and 190. So I swatched those on my face and dragged it down into my neck. I'll talk about this later, but my face is darker than my neck, and I personally match to my face, not my neck. Off to Urban Decay. I want to try this product, you guys. It looks amazing, and I put on the shades 10, then 12, then 14. So the closest to my mouth is 10, then 12 and 14, and I'm checking in on my Fenty, which I'm giving some time to dry, which will lead me into my first major tip, you guys. So these are now on my face. I have swatched them. I am going to see how they settle. You need to give stuff time to dry. So walk around the store, give everything time to settle and oxidize. And now what you'll see I'm doing is I have now moved to natural light, and I'm examining all these swatches in natural light after I've given them time to dry down and oxidize a bit. So again, this is the Urban Decay side, 10, 12, and 14. So I'm examining them here, don't mind the big pimple, and I'm looking at how they mainly blend into my face. My neck is much darker, and then here's the Fenty again, 240, 230, and 190. My face is so much darker than my neck, you guys. I don't self-tan anywhere, so I generally try and blend into my face before my neck. My neck does help me kind of understand the undertone I'm looking for because I have a yellow leaning undertone. Some of these look super peachy and a bit almost pink, so I want yellow. So I'm navigating and kind of drawn towards those. And you'll see, just to show you, I put right there the lightest shade I could find that would actually match my neck. The neck is blended in. It's right next to that darkest shade, kind of right below there. It is so pale on my face, but blends into my neck just fine. So that is why for me, it is super important to blend into my face, not my neck. Now here I am giving you this big picture look, which is my next goal. What I've done, I've now put on the Urban Decay, and I picked 14 on that side and 12 on this side. I am now looking to see blended in big picture. That's my third kind of big takeaway. Big picture, how is this looking? Does it blend into my neck okay? I'm looking for that yellow kind of leaning undertone. Is any other undertones popping out? Like this 12 is looking a little peachy on my neck, whereas the 14 looks more yellow, which is what I'm wanting. Okay, now this is Fenty. This is 240 on this side. And I'm looking at it going down on my neck and how I'm liking it. And I have some thoughts. And then this side is 230. If you look at both of them, they look decent on my face. But when you look at it brought down on my neck, both of them have like a peachy, almost like pink undertone brought down on my neck, as you can see here. And that's where my neck comes into play and is useful. I'm not loving the undertone. There's Titanic under the background. So now I'm home, and I'm wearing the foundation that I actually ended up walking away with, which is the Urban Decay in the shade 14. Now, I know I kind of whipped through that video quickly, but I picked 14 for a few reasons. It had kind of the truest yellow undertone out of all the ones that I picked. And I have a yellow leaning undertone. So I typically need to go for foundations that say warm or yellow or golden. So that's typically what I go for. And all those other foundations, some of them looked like maybe they were a bit closer to my skin tone on my face. But if you looked at it brought down on my neck where I have no external factors coming into play, and what I mean by that is things like redness, mainly redness. I get quite red through out kind of in my cheeks and near my nose. And that can kind of disguise what your true undertone is because that redness would maybe make you think, oh, she should get like a cool undertone foundation, which is more pink. But truly, if you look into my neck and other areas of my skin, I do have that yellow and warm leaning undertone. So I mentioned in the video that my neck is so much paler than my face. So I don't really go off my neck as like a color for a color choice for like how deep or like lighter or dark I want my foundation. But it is a really good gauge for that undertone I'm looking for. I'm looking for, again, something that doesn't pull 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 pink or peach. I want something that is yellow, and my neck is a really good gauge for that true undertone that I have. Other areas of my face are helpful, like my forehead, my chin. If you really look and you get rid of that, if you look away from, I guess, the redness that I sometimes get, you do see that yellow undertone that I have. So my neck helps me to kind of look at the undertone aspect of it, not necessarily how dark the foundation is supposed to be. Because as you see, I matched a foundation to my neck, and when I put it on my face, it was so pasty white it would have looked like a ghost. So personally, that is why I swatch on my neck. It is to help identify the right undertone. It is not to help identify how light or dark my foundation shade should be. But I do kind of use it to help me. So it's there as a supporting tool for me. So all those other foundations, some of them blended into my cheeks okay. But what I was really looking for is something that had that yellow undertone, and that I could tell, like when I looked at my neck and my face, I can kind of get a good picture of what undertone works and what depth I am looking for. And again, the 14, I could just tell, like, and I hope you can tell that some of the other ones were leaning like quite peachy on my neck, almost pinky. Whereas that one, even though it was a bit deeper when you looked at my neck, it had that yellow tone that just you could tell kind of worked better. And again, know what season you're buying foundation going into. Are you going into winter where you're going to get more pale? Or are you going into summer like me where you're going to get more tanned? So that kind of influenced my decision. I didn't mind the Fenty, and again, blended in big picture, it looked okay. But when I brought it down into my neck, I could see kind of that like peachy pink undertone coming through, which I just know when I bring that home and I put it on and I wear it, I will be unhappy with. So all those factors came into play to help me make my decision. And again, I'm actually pretty happy with how it is looking on my skin. I've been wearing it for a few hours now. I think the shade is great. It's a little deep, but again, summer is coming. So I am foolish to buy a shade that perfectly matches my complexion right now because that's just not, in like a month or two, it's just not going to work anymore. So I hope that was useful. Again, my main takeaways, there's no perfect science, and just know your body, know what you're trying to match to. You saw the whole discrepancy between my face and my neck and how I personally navigate that, knowing my skin and what part of my body has more color and what my end goal is for what I want to match to. Some people will want to match exactly to their neck, and that's okay. You want to match to your face, that's okay. Whatever your desire is, the same principles apply. Put it on in store, pick a few different swatches and put them on your skin. Give it time to dry. Find the best natural light you can in the store, or leave the store if you're in the mall and walk around the mall and find natural light. Do whatever you can to find natural light. When you've narrowed down the ones that you think look best, again, put it all over either half your face or your whole face to get that big picture look. Again, the swatches are probably a bit more concentrated than when you actually were or would blend it out on your skin. So get it on, smear it all over the place, really give that big picture look. See how it looks with your neck and your chest, and if it's still looking like the color that you want it to. And then the creme de la creme is get a sample from the store and take it home. That is my best and top preference, because then I get to not only check the color, but see how it wears. Is it too oily? Is it clinging to dry patches? Is it settling in lines? Like all those things. I hope that was useful. Again, that is like exactly what I do in store when I go pick foundation. It's taken me a lot of practice to get there, because often I would swatch it and just pick that color right away. And most often I would get home and regret my choice. So I hope that was useful. If you have any other foundation questions, you want any other swatches done, let me know. Thanks for shopping with me again, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.